Let me begin, Mr. President, let me begin by reading a few headlines showing what Donald Trump's so-called golden age really looks like. These are headlines from the past few weeks from the Wall Street Journal. Quote, factory activity shrinks for the 6th month. Tariffs remain a key worry. Hello? Or, how about this headline, also from the Wall Street Journal? Stagnant job market is a rising risk for the U.S. economy. Or how about from Bloomberg? Economists see slow U.S. growth, stubborn inflation, well into 2006. And finally, from CBS News, quote, families are paying more for back-to-school supplies and waiting longer to finish shopping, data shows. So I guess this is Donald Trump's idea of a golden age. Parents pay more for school supplies, a job market on the brink, more and more inflation that hurts people's pocketbooks every week, factories slowing to crawl month after month. That is not, it's certainly not what the American people have signed up for. This morning, the White House press secretary, Karen Leavitt, and other senior White House officials will hold briefing sessions with GOP members about how to rebrand the big, ugly bill in hopes they can make it play better with the American people. They're squirming. They know this bill is unpopular. So now what do they want to do? Change the name? Changing the name isn't going to open rural hospitals that are closing. Changing the name is not going to give health care to the millions who will lose it. Changing the name is not going to cause health care premiums to go up and up and up. Donald Trump says he wants to change the name of this big, beautiful bill because, as it turns out, it's terrible. And it's a terrible name for the biggest health care and nutrition cuts in history. Americans know damn well that these Medicaid and ACA cuts are not big and beautiful. They're hideous, they're cruel, they're destructive. The fact that Donald Trump says Medicaid cuts are big and beautiful shows just who he is and just who his values, what his values are. The American people are learning who he really is. The fact that Donald Trump thinks that Medicaid cuts are beautiful reveals to America who he cares about and who he doesn't give a damn about. And the average American, he doesn't care a bit about. He cares about giving his tax breaks to his billionaires, and he cuts health care to do it, and then he calls that beautiful. Well, maybe it's beautiful for a few billionaires. It sure ain't beautiful for tens of millions of Americans who are hurt by it. Let's be very clear, folks. The Republicans don't have a branding problem. They have a substance problem. What they did is horrible. They can call their bill whatever the hell they want. It's not going to change the fact that millions are going to lose health care, tens of millions are going to have their premiums go up, rural hospitals will close, and research funding that saves kids from cancer is slashed. When hospitals close, when people get sick and die, they don't give a damn what Donald Trump's bill is called. They want the Republicans to stand up to Trump, Republicans here in the Senate, and reverse these cuts, even though every one of them, just about every one of them, voted for it. And if Republicans think that a bunch of branding briefing sessions can change the American people's views of what this bill is all about, they are colossally out of touch. I spent a month in August traveling from Niagara Falls to Glens Falls. I met with parents, I met with doctors, I met with nurses, I met with hospital people, I met with Democrats, Republicans, and independents. People detest this big, beautiful bill. It's cruel. And if you don't believe me, look at the data. Republicans, Donald Trump, look at the data. Look at what the American people think of this so-called big, beautiful bill. Americans hate the Republican big ugly bill. Pew Research, 46% disapprove, 32% approve. Navigator, 52% unfavorable, 33% favorable about the big ugly bill. CNN, 61% oppose, 39% approve. These are not just marginal differences. Overwhelmingly, just about every Democrat, 2/3 to 3/4 of independents, and a large chunk of Republicans hate this bill. And that's what the data shows. That's what the data shows. So the Republican problem is not difficult to understand. Why Leader Thune, Speaker Johnson, the White House, the Republican senators are squirming and on their back foot is not difficult to understand. These numbers say it all. What they did is despise the #1 achievement that they're going home and they think they can brag about. People hate, and that's why they're not having town hall meetings. And that's why when senators and congressmen, Republicans, go to their town hall meetings, they get booed. Not because people are mean, but because people are struggling to deal with the consequences of the big, beautiful bill. The American people know Donald Trump is dead wrong. That is why his numbers, his popularity has declined significantly. Republicans can't magic talk their way out of this big, ugly bill because the real life impacts back home are inescapable and are devastating.